Hello BookTube, Sarah here and welcome to my channel. Today I'm coming to you with another weekly reading vlog. Today is actually the 16th of March. It's Monday and it's just after 5 at night. So yes, I forgot to do a clip yesterday. I usually start these vlogs on Sunday, but today is Monday, so I apologize. Yesterday just totally got away from me. It was busy. I went to bingo with my mom in the morning because we had won on the Saturday. So we went back on the Sunday. And then I came home. So we went to the 9 o'clock in the morning one. So I was home by like 11:30. And Garrett and I went out for a little bit. And then she calls me. And I had already seen the email from the bingo hall. Because yes, I'm on the bingo hall's mailing list. Don't judge me. And they announced because of the COVID-19 that all bingo halls in Ontario were being shut down as of yesterday. So as of the last session yesterday, that's it. They were going to be shut down indefinitely at this point, and which is what a lot of businesses are currently saying. Some are saying like 2 weeks. Some are like, we'll reassess in 2 weeks and see what's going on. Sorry, that's Bernard sneezing. He's fine. He's not sick, I assure you. And so Mom called me back. She's like, do you want to come back? Because there wasn't going to be bingo for at least a few more weeks, which Mom and I are like, what are we going to do on our weekends? So anyway, so I ended up going back. So I didn't get home last night till 7, and then I was exhausted. I had also meant to film videos yesterday, but I didn't get around to doing that either. So that's going to have to happen probably tomorrow night. There will be 2 videos for me. You will have already seen them, so I don't even know why I'm bothering to mention it. But yeah, so there will be videos coming up later this week. But yeah, Sunday just got away from me, so I am so sorry. But the good thing is that now I'm going to sit down and I'm going to share 2 books with you guys that I finished over the last couple days. And as I like to do in the beginnings of these vlogs, I'm going to share with you the books that I plan on reading over the course of this week. So, I think I'm going to start off with the books that I finished. Actually, maybe I'll finish with that. Yes, that's what I'll do. I'll just do a little chat first about actually my Stacking the Series challenge. I have decided to knock off the first 2 tiers, Tier 8 and Tier 9 of my Stacking the Series challenge, because I realize that the one thing I really want to focus on this year, it is series, but I want to get more read from different series, if that makes sense, and I want to let myself read a bit more organically, if that makes sense. Like, I'm not a mood reader per se, but especially with me participating in the Pass the Parcel challenge, it will probably happen again. They usually take a month or a 6-week break between the Pass the Parcel, so it's not like one ends and a new one begins like the next week. There's usually like a 4 to 6 week wait time in between. But I've said this before too, even for like read-alongs or readathons and stuff like that, I want to participate in those, and I'm finding that difficult with everything else that I need to read, for lack of a better term. So I decided to knock off those first 2 tiers. So that was the Sabbath books that I was reading, and then also the Present series, the Chatsfield series, which was cute and I liked it, and I'm not saying I won't go back to them and pick them back up. But for right now, they're not part of the Stacking the Series. So this now leaves me with 6 tiers, and that is for the rest of the year, and I've already figured out what book is going to be read on in which month. That leaves me with, I think, 1 to 2 books a month, depending. Like, I kind of one book and then, you know, another month 2 books and stuff like that. So yeah, so I'm quite happy with that. And I think it's going to work out for me. So, you know, and everything changes. Nothing is ever set in stone, you know. Even with my TBR itself every month when I do it, I always like to jokingly say, you know, this is subject to change. Depending on, you know, what happens and what changes and what things I suddenly want to participate in. You know, the sad part is that I often hear about readathons like a week before they're going to start. And sometimes, readathons. Excuse me, I've got the hiccups. So it's kind of hard for me to be able to participate in that. So anyway, so that is that. But let me share with you, whoops, I've got my tablet here. Let me go back and share with you guys what my reading plans for the week actually are. So that being said about my Stacking the Series, originally I was going to read Ostara this month, which I'm not going to now. And I was also going to read, I think it was Tangled in Texas by Carrie Lindell. Was that the one? No, that wasn't the one. That one's being moved to another month. That's what it was. So those 2 books are no longer on my TBR because that Carrie Lindell book. It was on audio, but it was like 12 and a half hours long. And I needed to be able to fit some books in for the Pass the Parcel challenge. So anyway, and I have a ton, an absolute ridiculous amount of books on my want to read list on Goodreads that I want to get to. And, you know, as much as I love the Stacking the Series, and I will do it again next year, I will do it every year. But I think, like, you know, every year it kind of drops a little bit. So, you know, next year I might only do 6. Or what I was even thinking was like doing like 4 tiers, but do 2 different lists. Do 2 lists of 4 tiers each, so I can get more series in. Does that make sense? So I thought that might be fun too. But we shall play it by ear. It's a long way off, you guys. At least 9 months. The joke is that I've been seeing on Facebook now is everybody's talking about the COVID-19 or the coronavirus babies. Because everybody's in isolation or self-isolation. They're saying what kind of a baby boom is going to happen in January or December of this year or January of next year. I thought that was kind of funny. Not in this household. I'm quite content. Just me, my hubby, and the cats. That makes me happy. So what are my reading plans for this week? So I'm not going to talk obviously about the first 2 books because I've already finished them. But the next book that I'll be starting tomorrow on audio is Heidi's Guide to 4-Letter Words. And this is by Tara Civic and Andy Arnett. And actually this one is for the Pass the Parcel challenge. The category or the prompt for this week was to pick from, they sometimes give you like 5 or 6 lists from Listopia on Goodreads, and you have to read a book from one of those lists. The second option every week, they always give you like the main thing that you need to try and do. And then the second prompt is always, or you can pick a book from somebody in your group that they have read and rated more than 3 stars or more, and it has to have been read within the last 6 months. So there is stipulations. It just can't be read a book that somebody else in your group read. It's got to be kind of broken down under these stipulations. So I couldn't find anything on any of the lists that I looked at. Nothing that was jumping out saying, excuse me, read me, you know what I mean? So I looked around on some of my my teammates' lists, and I found this book. And I've had this kind of wanting to read it for a while. I'm really not even sure what it's about, but it's relatively short. It's only like 4 hours long on audio, and it's on the Audible Escape package. And it just sounded absolutely delightful. Or it looks really, really cute. I didn't even read what it was about, but I think she's like a DJ or something like that. I don't know, but I'm totally interested because Tara Civic, I believe, she's an author. And Andy Arnett is actually a narrator, and I do really enjoy her narration. I listen to a lot of books that she's narrated, so I don't know if she co-wrote it and is the narrator for this or how it's going to go. So I'm totally intrigued and I cannot wait. So I will be starting and finishing that one obviously this week. And then and I always stipulate this. When I say this week, I mean by Saturday night. And then the second book I plan on starting, the next one that I plan on starting as an audiobook when I'm finished that one, is going to be The Girls in the Garden by Lisa Jewell, which I'm totally excited about. This is another one for March Mystery Madness, and I think it's going to be fantastic, and I cannot wait to read it. It's another thriller. I have no idea what it's about other than the fact that during a garden party, a young girl is found dead in a garden. That's all I know. I'm going to go into it blind, and I cannot wait to read it. So, on to my ebooks for the week. So, I plan on starting and finishing this week The Girls' Weekend by Jody Gurman. This is a thriller. It does not come out till June of 2020. This is an e-arc that I have. And I've started it today. I started it on my lunch today. And it sounds like it's about these 5 friends. Sorry, my throat's really... Do you know what it is? Sorry. I hate it when people do that. Is with all this whole coronavirus thing, is that my workplace has been going like mental about keeping everything clean. And I really think that all these chemicals and stuff are really starting to affect my voice and my throat and my breathing even. I was noticing today, not that I was short of breath, but that my throat was really scratchy, but it wasn't scratchy in a way like I'm getting sick, but scratchy in a way like it's allergies. Does that make sense? So, and I was joking with somebody else at work today saying that in like however long this thing lasts, when it's all said and done, Every single person is going to come down with a common cold. Mark my words right now, you guys. Everyone's going to get sick because all of a sudden the virus is going to, like, go into hibernation or whatever it's going to do. And people are going to start becoming lax with, hand washing and like, not like, but going back to how they used to be. And all of a sudden everybody's going to get sick because the germs are going to be like, hello. So anyway, so that's why my voice is like really out of it right now. I think that's the reason, personally. So, where was I? Girls' Weekend. So I started on lunch today, and it is about 5 friends who were friends in college, and they're now in their late 30s, so not much younger than me, actually. And they decide to get together for a girls' weekend, and that's really all that I know. And I am super, super stoked about reading it. It's already, I'm about 8 or 9% of the way through it, and so far it's really good. So the next one that I plan, so that one I plan on starting and finishing. I also plan on starting and finishing The Colton Marine by Lisa Childs. This is a Harlequin, I think it's a romantic suspense, or is it an intrigue? The cover will be here. I cannot remember which it is. It might be an intrigue, or it might not be. I don't know. Anyway, like I said, the cover will be up here. And I don't know too much about what this one's about. It's the 5th in the series. The Coltons of something or other. And I started this series, I think, last year for the Stacking the Series Challenge. And I was able to, I think there's 6 books in total, so I'm almost done this one. So maybe I can even finish this one this year sometime. Read this one and then read the last one later on. But I am looking forward to this one. She is a really great author. And that one is also for March Mystery Madness. And then the last book that I plan on starting this week, I won't get it done by Saturday night, is The Breakup by Tilly Tennant. Now, when I announced my March TBR, I mentioned that this book was called A Cat Named Cupid. And I love that title. I stinking thought that title was awesome. All kinds of awesome. But then we got an email, everybody who had it as an e-arc, which I do, this book comes out towards the end of this month, got an email stating that they had changed the title of it to The Breakup and put a new cover up. So the new cover you're going to be seeing here. And I was like really disappointed because The Breakup, it's like, but A Cat Called Cupid, super adorable. Like, I don't understand why it was changed, but I'm kind of disappointed in that. I almost want the original title back because I really, really liked it. And I thought it's what really drew me into the book. I'm glad they kept the cover art the same, but I am kind of disappointed that they did change the title. So anyway, this is a romantic comedy kind of an idea, a rom-com, so I'm very much looking forward to that. And last but not least, as I've, as I like to read whoops, sorry for shaking my camera, my Back to My Childhood book for this week is a Nancy Drew. It is one of the ones from the original series. This one was published in the 30s, and it is number 9, and it is called The Sign of the Twisted Candles, or The Sign of the Twisted Candles. And it's like the cover of this is like kind of really spooky. And it's about Nancy and Bess and George, her friends, and they go to a distant relative of Bess and George's. It's this old man who turns 100. And I guess that he's kind of living, not locked up because he can't leave, but he can have visitors in like this tower in this inn kind of an idea. And I guess relatives are fighting over the money. I am about 3 or 4 chapters into this already, and I'm really enjoying it so far. It's interesting. And what got me as I was listening to, or reading it, is that, like I said, it came out, I think, in 33 or 34. And then I think if that man, when this book was written in 1934, turned 100, means he's born in 1834. I'm like, was he in a historical romance novel at some point? It's really interesting when you start to think about time periods in that aspect, you know what I mean? Because in reality, if you guys think about it, it's 2020. If this book came out in 34, that's 14 years from now. That's like, you know what I mean? Like, in 14 years, that book will be 100 years old. That blows my mind in a way, like, it's just so weird. Because somebody posted on Facebook, it might have been my sister-in-law, saying, isn't it funny that the 1990s were 20 years ago? Because I could have sworn they were just last week. And it's true. I'm like, how was it not just the 90s? I don't understand. Time goes so quickly, you guys. Seriously. So, last little clip for this clip. excuse me, I wanted to mention to you. I finished 2 books, as I said. So the first one I finished yesterday was the Bromance Book Club by Lyssa Kay Adams. And I really like this, you guys. I ended up giving it 4.5 stars. So because this is a new vlog, I don't know how many of you watched my last vlog. This one is about Mac and Liv. Now, Liv, both of these characters we met in the first book, in the Bromance Book Club series. This one, I'm sorry, did I say the Bromance? No, this is Undercover Bromance, the second book in the series. And we met both of these characters in the last book. And they don't particularly like each other. So it's definitely a hate to love relationship. And I didn't particularly like Liv in the first book either. And neither did Rainy from Rainy Day Reads. We buddy read the first book together. And I was a little bit apprehensive going into this one because I didn't like Liv. But she kind of redeemed herself a bit. And she kind of started to grow on me. She had her reasons for acting the way that she does, and that kind of comes out in this book, and it's even mentioned about the way that she treated Gavin, her sister Thea's husband. So Gavin and Thea were the characters in the first book. And, you know, I really liked it. Plus, there was what I really enjoyed about this book, and I actually ended up giving it 4.5 stars because of the subjects that were discussed in this book. Now, when I went into this, it was called, like I said, Undercover Bromance. And the thing was that it was supposed to be like a romantic suspense novel. That the group, this group of guys who read romance novels in order to learn how to woo their significant others are, you know, the first book they were reading a historical romance, and then in this one you're getting a romantic suspense. I thought it was going to be more Cloak and Dagger kind of a romantic suspense, like, do you know what I mean? Like FBI kind of, you know, chasing the bad guys. But in reality, it's Mac and Liv going after Liv's ex-boss, who is a not a pedophile, sorry, predator. That's what I'm looking for, a predator to women. It deals a lot with the Me Too movement, and how this guy is sexually harassing women and seeming to get away with it. And the Bromance Book Club and Liv are going to stop him. And yeah, so it was really, really good. Like I said, 4.5 stars. I really enjoyed it. I actually think I liked it more than the Bromance Book Club because I thought that the conflicts between Mac and Liv were a lot better than the conflicts between Gavin and Thea in the first book, if that makes sense. So yeah, so I really, really like this one. The other book, and I do have these to open afterward. I do have my minis to open afterward. But the other book that I just finished today was the Remarkable Journey of Coyote Sunrise, and this was by Dan Gernhardt, I think. I'm sorry, I can't pronounce his name. The book cover, of course, will be up here in all of its adorableness. This cover is to die for. I have not given this book a rating yet. I just got home. I just finished it on the way home from work, so I have not sat down and done all my ratings and stuff. This will definitely be hitting a 4.5 star, guaranteed. If not a 5 star. I don't know. It'll be one of those 3. This was utterly delightful. This I read for middle grade March. If you have a little one who is that age group, the main character in this story, Coyote, she's 13, 12 going on 13. So if you've got a little one about that age, I recommend this one. You know, if you haven't read it yourself and you have a little one, this would be a great one for the two of you to read together because you will love it just as much as your kid. I mean, I loved it. I thought it was great. So like I said, it's about a young girl by the name of Coyote. And 5 years earlier, this isn't giving anything away because it's on the back of the book, her mom and 2 sisters are killed in a car accident. And her father ends up buying this old bus and converting it sort of into a home on wheels. And the two of them, for the last 5 years, have been crisscrossing the country. So every Saturday, Coyote calls her grandmother, and she finds out that back in their hometown that they've never been back to since her mother and sister's deaths, that there's a park. And back when her mom and sisters were alive, they had this memory box that they all wrote each other letters. And they said that one day that they would all come back when they were older and dig it up and share the letters with each other. So each one wrote a letter to each other. And it was buried. So now this park is going to become a parking lot. She can't tell her grandmother what tree it's buried under because she can't remember unless she sees the tree. So now she's trying to convince her dad, without him knowing, to drive back across the country, home, from Florida to Washington State in 4 days. And along the way, they pick up a awesome cast of characters. A delight, an absolute, utter delight. This book was fantastic. I was telling my mom about it yesterday. She's like, and why are you reading a middle grade novel? I'm like, because of middle grade March. But, I mean, everybody and his brother read Harry Potter and nobody blinked an eye at that. So, and I said that to her and she goes, oh yeah, I know, you're right. I said, a good book is a good book. It doesn't matter what age it's for. So anyway, I actually thought she might get a kick out of it too. And I did get it was very emotional too, you guys. Very, very, very emotional. So, so good. Highly recommend it if you haven't picked it up yet. Do yourself a favor and go ahead and do it. So yeah, so that's it. Just let me open up my 2 little minis and then I will let you guys go for today. So, yeah, my hair isn't looking like it was on Saturday. Had to do it myself. And I'm not a stylist. But I just bought some mousse. So I plan on playing with it tomorrow and trying to get the ends to do like to go, I have pigtails, but I think you guys know what I mean, to get it to look like it looked on Saturday, so it's not kind of so stringy and just hanging. But anyway, back to the yarn. I got another Scooby-Doo yarn. This, I believe, is Fred. So I showed these to you guys weeks and weeks ago, that I got like the 5 characters in Scooby-Doo. So I think that this one was Fred with he had a white shirt with a blue neckerchief. Do you have orange pants? I can't remember. Now I'm curious. Bear with me just a second, you guys. A lot of you are out there going, yes, he did. Don't waste our time. 1 second. I just want to see here. For those of you who might not know what I'm talking about, Fred from Scooby-Doo. Images. Oh, no. Okay, so that's what it was. So he had, come on. So he has, oops, sorry for the glare, you guys. So he's got a white shirt, blue pants, and a yellow or an orange neckerchief. So that's where the orange comes in. So yeah, so you can kind of see now how those colors kind of go together. So that'll be fun to add to the blanket. I should get at least 2 or 3, maybe even 4 squares out of this. So we shall see. So that's the next one that's going to go in. And then after that, I've got, that was the one for Bromance, Undercover Bromance. And then this is the one for Coyote Sunrise. So let's see what we have in here. I used a lot of tape on some of these, you guys. Ooh, this one's pretty. Oh, it's already wound up too. With the whole, you know, virus going around, I'm so super bummed that baseball season has been postponed. I totally get it. Don't get me wrong. I absolutely understand the reasoning why, but I'm still bummed. So this is kind of nice. It's my Red Sox yarn. I bought this from a company called, what was the name of that? Brew City Yarns. I think that they still sell online. I will have to go and find out for you. I think this might have been Brew City as well, but this was this set was exclusive and you can't buy it anymore. I don't know if you can still buy the baseball ones either, but they did one for every single MLB team. So it's essentially just the colors of the team colors. So I have a pair of socks in this yarn. And I think I've already got a square in my blanket in this, so this will be my second one. I think this is all that I have left. And that makes me sad, but it's my Red Sox yarn, so I'm very excited about that. So, yay to that going in the blanket. So anyway, guys, that is all that I have for you today. I will talk to you tomorrow. Bye, guys. Hi, guys. Happy Tuesday. It is the 17th. I don't even know why I need to look at my watch. It's the 17th of March. And I can look at the time, though. It's about 8:30 at night. Happy St. Patrick's Day to anyone who celebrates. Very low-key St. Patrick's Day this year, I think, for everybody with the coronavirus going on. Update on that for Toronto and Ontario. Our premier declared a state of emergency for the province of Ontario today, meaning that all bars, restaurants, cinemas, private daycares, private schools, like everything except for like the malls and the grocery stores and like, you know, where I work, are all closed. Bars and restaurants, as long as they have drive-through or they serve takeout, they can still be open, but there is no seating allowed. So I did get my Starbucks this morning, thankfully. I'm like, Starbucks is an essential service. It needs to stay open. No, I wouldn't put anybody in any kind of danger for anything. So yeah, so we had that. But there are a lot of steps being taken. The whole social distancing thing. I am not leaving the house unless I have to go to work. And essentially, I am walking from my apartment to my car, getting in my car to the office, and then home again. If I don't have to make any unnecessary stops, I won't. We had, I think, 13 more confirmed cases in Ontario today and one death. Not far, not about 2 hours north in not northern Ontario, because northern Ontario is like really far up, but like the Muskoka area, Barrie, if you want to look at a map. Yeah, so I don't think they realized, though, from what I was reading in the news, that the gentleman who died, he was an older gentleman. He was in his 70s. Not that that makes it any better, but you know what I mean. That they didn't realize until after he died that he had the coronavirus. So they don't know whether it was they still have to find that out, whether it was that actually that he died of. But they did find out after he died that he spent time in Alberta with a man who was known to have the coronavirus. So yeah, there's a lot going on, guys. The world is crazy. And it's scary. A lot of it is scary. I don't know about you guys, but I'm watching a lot of the news now. Like, I've got the app on my phone, and I'm just trying not to think about it, and trying just to live and go through everything. I wish I could be working from home, but unfortunately, my office does not have that capability. We have shut the office to outside visitors, so there's a sign on the door saying, yes, we are open. It's not a retail store or anything like that, so we wouldn't necessarily have people coming in, but occasionally you do get like solicitors and stuff like that coming in, but it's completely like, unless you have an appointment or you're a courier, and if you're a courier, we take the package to the door, which kind of bothers me. I'm like, I don't know about that. So I let somebody else do that today. Because I'm sorry, I'm trying to be extra cautious. Social distancing, people, social distancing. We introverts are living for this. Am I right? I'm right. So, on to better news. I think I'm finally figuring out my hair. It's only taken like 3 days. But when you get a brand new haircut, they do it so awesome at the salon, and then you try and, do it yourself and you just can't. So, I think I finally figured it out. Like, I showered tonight and I blow dried it and I just brushed it and it looks fine. So I think this is probably the way I'm going to go. Yesterday I tried to put mousse in it and it just didn't work out. So yeah, it's going to take a little bit for me to get used to still, but the gray is slowly coming out. You can tell that it's not as silver or as gray as it was. I had one of my coworkers, God bless them, just like, oh, so you're embracing your natural color. I'm like, no, this is natural. This is not. So I had to kind of explain like how the process works and stuff like that. So it was kind of funny. But what I forgot to mention to you guys yesterday when I showed up at work, because it is like when I was editing the vlog on Sunday, I'm like, you could like the difference in my hair from like earlier in the week to when I had it done on Saturday. It's different, right? And half the people in the office were like, you colored your hair. And the other half of the people in the office were like, you cut your hair. Nobody got both. And I kept going, yeah, I actually did both. But I wore my hair up so much that I don't think, a lot of people really noticed that it was shorter. You know what I mean? I very, very rarely wore it down. And it was to like there, like when I had it down, like when Tammy, my stylist, pulled it out of the ponytail that I had it in when I showed up at the salon. She's like, holy cow, it got long. And then she just came up behind and clip, and it was like that much that she took off. Anyway, besides that, so I'm just very, very happy that I'm finally figuring out how to deal with this. Not that it's I love it. I am absolutely ecstatic. So happy with it. So anyway, book news. What have I been reading today? I've gotten quite a good bit of reading done today. I started listening to today. Oh my gosh, you guys, this book is making me so happy. I started Heidi's Guide to Four-Letter Words by Tara Civic and Andy Arndt. I was saying it Arnett, but it's Arndt as per the audiobook. And guys, it's so delightful. Oh my god, this book is just so much fun. So it's about a woman, and she lives in Minnesota. And I can say it that way because that's it, throughout the whole book. It's a very thick Minnesota accent. Her mother is a card. Oh my gosh. So her name is Heidi, and she is in love with her neighbor. And she was a kindergarten teacher, and she got let go from her job due to budget cuts. And she ended up finding this job at this company that does audiobook narration, of course. And she doesn't realize that the kind of books that they're narrating are very, very erotic novels. And her romance reading is all Amish romance, and it is just hysterical. So she decides to, one night while she's had a couple too many glasses of boxed wine, she, without giving too much away, she gets herself some audio podcast equipment, and she records this very drunk podcast, and she starts what's called Heidi's Discount Erotica is the name of the podcast. Like, I need that to be a real podcast because I would totally listen to it. So she reads like sections from like these erotic. It's so funny. So in certain chapters, you'll have a couple chapters of the story, and then you have like a chapter of a podcast episode, and it's hysterical because there's one point in the story where she's like, I think I need another glass of wine. She goes, I'll be right back. And you literally hear the chair moving and somebody like standing up. It's brilliant. It is so well done. I'm pretty sure this was originally just for audio, and then they brought it out to an ebook. It's available as part of the Audible Escape package. Every review that I've seen on it, it's like 4-5 stars. This book so far is fantastic. I'm about 40% of the way through it. My goal is to definitely get it done tomorrow. And of course there's a romance in there because she has a thing for her next door neighbor. Absolutely love it. Love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. It's exactly what you need right now with all this other garbage going on in the world. Delightful. And I was thinking, because there's some very, very spicy things that are talked about in this book, but I almost want to let my mother listen to this one because Heidi herself is she's so adorable. Like she won't swear, and she's having a very hard time, talking about these things on her podcast. She's trying to come out of her shell. Delightful. Absolutely delightful. So yeah, the other one that I am currently reading is The Girls' Weekend by Jody Gurman, I think is the last name of the author. Picture of it, of course, will be up here. This is a thriller. So I can't say too much about what this one's about because I really wasn't even too sure going into it. This is about 5 friends who were best friends in college, even though as I'm reading it, I don't see how they ever were because they are vastly different women. And as adults, they really don't get along. So I thought, well, it must have been, like close quarters with a lot of women, or with these girls with each other in like a dorm, would cause you to become more friendly with the people that you're around. You know what I mean? But there's a lot of tension between the women, but they all end up showing up at this one woman's house because another of the group of the 5 girls is pregnant. So they decide to have this girls' weekend. And I'm about 35% of the way through it right now, and something has just happened. Something major has just happened. And the story's going to go from there to try and find out exactly what happened. Because none of the women remember the night before. Let's put it that way. And that's all I'm going to say. So, yeah, so far I'm really enjoying it. The writing is very good. I don't have much more to say on it other than that because, again, it is a thriller, so I don't want to give too much away. And the last thing, of course, I'm still reading the Nancy Drew book, The Sign of the Twisted Candles, I believe it's called. Of course, the picture will be up here. But I will talk more about that one, later on in the week. I haven't read any more since the last time I talked to you, but I plan on doing that just before I go to bed. Anyway, guys, that is all for today. I will talk to you tomorrow. Bye, guys. Hi, guys. Happy Thursday. It is the 19th of March, and it is about just after 10 o'clock at night. And again, I forgot to film yesterday. Sorry. Becoming a habit. But I want to keep this quick because I got to go to bed. But I do have 2 books that I have finished over the last couple days that I wanted to share with you. So, and I've got the things to open too, so that's exciting. And I have a little bit of book-related mail. So, like I said, we'll keep this quick. So the first book that I finished yesterday was Heidi's Guide to 4-Letter Words by Tara Civic and Andy Arndt. It was narrated by Andy Arndt. It was fantastic. I actually gave it 4 stars, you guys. I just loved it. I thought it was absolutely delightful. I talked about it yesterday, what it's about, so I'm not going to reiterate that again. But just know, if you're looking for something that is quick and fun and funny, definitely check it out. It's available as part of the Audible Escape package. So yeah, it was really, really delightful, highly enjoyable. Yes, you can get it on ebook if you're interested, but I absolutely recommend it on audio because I feel that's how it needs to be read, because it just plays. I couldn't see some of the scenes translated as well from in print book as it would to the audiobook. So yeah. The other book that I finished today was The Girls' Weekend by Jody Gurman, I think is how you say the author's name. I ended up giving this one 3.5 stars. I didn't love it. It is a thriller, and it's about, I think I've already mentioned what this one's about too, but it's about 5 friends who gather together for a weekend. They were friends in college, and they're now in their late 30s, early 40s. And the mystery, like, itself, I don't want to give too much away, was okay. Although I did kind of see the whodunit, like I kind of figured it out. But the thing that really set this one down for me was the friendship between the women. I don't see how they were ever friends. Throughout the course of the book, you find out more about how they kind of interacted in college. And I think other than them being, in the same dorm or something like that, I don't see these girls would have ever interacted with each other. They don't seem to like each other. They're very petty to each other. And I just didn't find it believable, especially since some of them didn't talk to each other for years. I mean, it just, why would they still even be talking to each other? It didn't make any sense to me. And that really, really set it down for me, unfortunately. This one does come out in June, so again, if you're a thriller reader, maybe give it a try. It wasn't horrible. I just had a really hard time believing the friendship between the women. So what am I currently reading? Today I started reading The Girls in the Garden by Lisa Jewell. This is, me reading through Lisa Jewell's backlist, and I'm enjoying this one so far. It's essentially about this community in London where there's like all these apartments, and then in the center there's like this big garden that, kind of shared between everybody who lives there. And during a garden party, one of the girls ends up, I don't know if she's killed or if she's hurt because we haven't gotten to that part yet. But I'm not really giving anything away because that's kind of told on the back of the book. She's found, and circumstances happen, but in true Lisa Jewell style, she jumps back and forth in time, different characters' perspectives and things like that. A really interesting cast of characters, I should say. I'm so far I'm enjoying it. I'm only about a quarter of the way through it. I'd like to get this one done by Saturday. And I also started today The Colton Marine by Lisa Childs. This is the 5th book in the Colton's. There's so many different Colton series. One of the series. I was reading through this series last year for my Stacking the Series challenge, but when I stopped that challenge, when I stopped doing it mid last year, or towards the tail end of last year, these books, the last, I think there's 2 more, this one and one more, I didn't get them finished. And this is about River, and you met him in a previous book, and he is a former Marine, hence the title of the book, and he was injured overseas. He lost his eye, and it sounds like it might have been like a bomb that went off or something like that. So he's back, and he meets up with a woman named Edith, whose boss has actually bought his old family home. And the overarching premise of this series is that his mom is on the run from the law. She broke out of prison, she was accused of murdering somebody, and now she's kind of on the lam. So all these stories kind of follow them trying to find the mother. So I do recommend, if you're interested in checking this series out, to read them in order, so you get that overarching plot line. Each book can be told individually, but it does work better in a unit if you read them all in order. And so far I'm enjoying it. I'm only about 14 or 15% of the way through that one. And I am still reading the Nancy Drew book, The Sign of the Twisted Candle, or The Signs of the Twisted Candle. I haven't really read much more from that over the last few days, but I do, like I said, I plan on going to bed and maybe getting another couple chapters of that read tonight before I go to sleep. So that is that. So let me show you opening up the yarn. So I'll start off with, it actually says Tangled in Texas on it, but I'm not reading that book this month because, like I think I said in a previous clip or in a previous vlog, that I'm knocking the top 2 tiers off my Stacking the Series for this year, 8 and 7. So this was, oh no, wait, I can't open this one. I didn't knock this one off. I knocked the other one off. So yeah, no, that one, I'm just not reading it this month. That's all. So bear with me just a second here. Well, I hunt through all of these. A lot of these are not going to get read this month, unfortunately. As usual, I overpicked on my TBR, but that's okay. It just meant that I had a lot of choice. So, Ostara, which was from the 8th tier, that I'm not going to be reading this month. So, or reading. I'll be reading them eventually, but I won't be using it for a stack in the series. So what do we have? Ooh, pretty. A dark purple. Well, that's really, really nice, isn't it? I like that a lot. So that'll be very nice. And then let me just put these back in the bag. The Girls Weekend. Let's hope the yarn is not as disappointing as the book. So this one was, of course, for Heidi's Guide to 4-Letter Words. So this one now for the Girls Weekend. Ooh, a lot of green so far in the blanket. This is another Ninja Turtle one. What's the Ninja Turtle with purple? I'm putting Garrett on the spot.
Really? Now I gotta go look up what's purple turtle.
Which purple is turtle? Which turtle is purple?
Purple turtle.
My associate. He's good.
Damn it, they literally gave me a purple turtle.
He typed in purple turtle.
Donatello.
Donatello. So there we go. So that'll be the next one in the blanket. And like I think I told you guys before when I got the last one, I should get at least 2 or 3 squares out of this. Not in a row. They'll be at random places in the blanket. So they actually go quite nicely together, don't they? Very nice. So, and then the last thing I want to share with you guys, of course, I got some book-related mail. I got some more bookmarks because I clearly have a problem. And I have more bookmarks than I know what to do with. But these are all just so cute that I can't say no. So these are from SJ Wonderlands. She has a shop on Etsy. Very affordable, very, very cute. I will leave a link to her in the description box below. Definitely check her out. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You know, why buy one when I can buy a bunch? Because the shipping charge is the same. So the first one I got is just a book quote that she does these. I have another one of these, I think from Gone with the Wind. And this is a quote from Lord of the Rings. And it says, "Home is behind, the world ahead, and there are many paths to tread. Through shadows to the edge of night until the stars are all alight." Again, by Tolkien from The Lord of the Rings, which I have never read, but it was my dad's favorite book. And when I read this quote, I don't know, it was really pretty. And I just thought it was kind of a nice, you know, to have. So, yeah, so I got that one. And then I got, she had some Valentine's Day ones, so I got one of those. And it says, books make the best Valentine, which is so true. Very cute. And then I got this cat one because you guys know I'm obsessed with black cats. I love my black cats. So this one, I have another one where it's all books with just the black cat on top, but this one has the multiple cats. So I showed this to Garrett and I said, "This is telling me we need 2 more black cats to make 4. I need 2 more, just like the bookmark." Oh, if it were up to Garrett, we'd be at the Humane Society getting all the cats, believe me. And then I got this one, which I think was like a Bookstagram one. So it's just got different things like setups and stuff that you would, you know, photograph for Bookstagram or whatever. You guys know I digitally scrapbook all my Bookstagram photos, which I love doing. So those I'm now putting at the end of these videos. So I hope you guys like seeing those. So yes, I got that one because I thought it was cute. And then I got this one. Very simple. It just says, "Books are my happy place." So true. And I did start, okay, so I've watched the first 3 seasons of the Gilmore Girls, but I never really continued on after that. But I still did really enjoy it, and I'm kind of mad at myself that I stopped watching it, and I'd like to pick it back up again, maybe from the beginning. But I love some of the, I love some of the bookmarks that she does for that show. And this one is from, of course, the Gilmore Girls, and it says, "How many cups of coffee have you had today?" It's none, plus 5. And then last but not least, I got this one. And I sent this to my friend Rainy over at Rainy Day Reads. She has her own channel. And I'm like, this bookmark has your name all over it. And literally it does. Rainy Day Reading. I thought that was so adorable, so I had to get it. Because I just thought it was too cute. Anyway, guys, that is all that I have for today. I'm heading off to bed to do some reading, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye, guys. Hi guys, happy Friday night. It is about 10 o'clock and it is the 20th of March, and I am actually getting ready to go to bed. 10 o'clock on a Friday night. I know how to party. So, yeah, it's the weekend. I'm super excited it's the weekend because I need a couple days off. With everything that's been going on in the world right now, I need to de-stress. And as I said to my husband, we are in now for the weekend. We have no reason to go back out again. Um, yeah, I'm pretty much gonna veg in here. If I do venture out at all, it will be to go and get a coffee or something like that. You know, I can make coffee here, but it's still not the same. It's the weekend, right? So yeah, so that is my plan, to just relax and enjoy this weekend. Get a lot of reading done, get a lot of knitting done. You know, nothing is open, so I really can't go anywhere anyway. I want to fix up the bookshelf, because there are some books that I've purchased over the last month or so, and I want to put them away. So that's one of my plans for the weekend. That's probably like my biggest plan for the weekend. But I was sitting here and I'm like, oh, I'll stay up for like another hour or so. But like literally, I was reading and my eyes were falling, like I was falling asleep. So yeah, so a very quick reading update for you guys right now. I am about 50% of the way through The Girls in the Garden by Lisa Jewell. Still really enjoying it. Again, I don't want to say too much about it because it is a thriller, but yeah, it's really, really good. I'm really enjoying it. I am also about 35-ish% of the way through The Colton Marine by Lisa Childs. This is the 5th book in the Coltons of... I had it earlier. I remembered what it was called earlier. Now excuse me, I can't remember. The Coltons of Shadow Creek or something like that, I think is the series name. Regardless, again, I talked about it yesterday. Did I give you guys the plot of it? I don't think I did. If this is a repeat, I do apologize. But essentially, this is about a guy by the name of River and a woman by the name of Edith. And he is a former Marine, hence the title. And he was injured. I think I did tell you guys this. He has a patch, actually. Very pirate-esque. He lost his eye. I think it was something about a bomb. And her boss has bought his family's old estate that's been abandoned now for about 10 years. His mother's on the run from the law. She broke out of prison. My one thing with this one, and I'm enjoying it, it's quite good. There's somebody hiding in the basement, like in a secret room in the basement, and you're getting little snippets from that person's perspective, which is kind of different and fun. But the one thing that's kind of bothering me about this, and it's this whole series, is that it kind of revolves around these siblings and stuff like that. But this one in particular, and I found a couple of them are kind of... Actually, this one more than the other ones. It's very, very much towing the line of keeping it within the family, if you will. So Edith is the niece of Mac, and Mac is River's stepfather. So you almost need like a big piece of paper just to draw the family tree for these guys. So Thorin was one of the characters in, I think, the last book. Him and River are brothers. They share the same mother but different fathers. So Thorin's dad is Mac, and that would make, of course, it River's stepdad. And like I said, so River's... so this girl that he's kind of got a thing for, Edith, is his stepfather's niece. Which I know there's no blood relation or anything like that. It still just seems weird, because Thorin calls Edith his cousin, because it is his cousin, right? And, you know, River and River is his brother. So it just, do you know what I'm saying? Like, it just sounds weird. They were not, like, they didn't know each other's kids or anything at all like that. So it's nothing like that. It's just, again, towing the line of keeping it within the family. Yeah, so, I mean, obviously nothing untowards. Like I said, there's no blood relation, but it's just, you know, I almost wish that there was like a family tree, like, in the beginning of the book, just to figure out who everybody is. Because there's a lot of, like, half-siblings and, you know, and stuff like that, so yeah. But, I mean, it's fun. It's an enjoyable enough read. I'll get it done. I don't know if I'll get it done tomorrow. I'll guarantee I'm going to get it done on Sunday. But tomorrow I plan on actually finishing, sorry for cutting off, like, my head. the Nancy Drew book, which is The Sign of the Twisted Candles. I'm only about 30% of the way through this one, or 40% of the way through this one, but this reads very quickly. I mean, it's a Nancy Drew book. They don't take a lot. And I've talked about this one already, but I am enjoying it, and this one I will definitely get done tomorrow. That's my goal. But anyway, guys, very short clip tonight. Don't really have much to share with you. Just I hope you guys are all staying safe. You know, there's been, I think today was one of the biggest jumps. There were 50 more cases. Was it in Toronto or in Ontario? 50 more cases in the province of Ontario. So that's scary. I'm pretty sure I was talking to my mom earlier, and my dad's youngest sister has dementia. I think I've talked about her before, my Aunt Sharon. She lives in a long-term care facility, not far from me actually. And Dad's other sister goes to visit her every week. Well, this week, or for the last few weeks, they haven't been able to go because they have closed all the long-term care facilities to the public. Like, if you have a relative in there, unless the relative is end stages of whatever it is and they're, you know what I mean? Like, if they, you know, like if the person's dying, they will let you go in and see them, right? But if it's just a visit, you can't, which is completely understandable. But then I think my mom was telling me today that there was one case in a long-term care facility, and I think it's the one that my aunt's in, because my mom mentioned something that my aunt said, that that my Aunt Sharon's place had somebody who tested positive. So yeah, and another person was a paramedic in the city, which is, you know, you can kind of see that too. I mean, they're around so many people, especially with everybody being sick. You know, it's been bad, and I know a lot of people are quarantining themselves, and I know a lot of people are self-isolating. That's my plan for the weekend. I do have to go to work. We are not closed. In a roundabout way, we are considered to be an essential service because the company that I work for, we make a food product. So unless we get told by the government that we need to close the doors, or God forbid if somebody, you know, gets sick at the plant or in the office, then we're open for business. And you know what, it is what it is. It's you know, I feel pretty safe there. There's not a lot of people. I'm in my own office, so I'm not like in cubicles where I'm like surrounded by people. We don't have the option to work from home in the office, just because that's not how this business is set up. It's very, very old school. Nothing at all that I'm used to. I know a lot of companies say, oh, they're trying to go paperless. And, you know, oh, sorry for my thumb. We truly are not even close to that. I mean, you know, for time off requests, it's a piece of paper you fill out. You know what I mean? Like, it's very, very old school. And so, you know, no laptops, no working from home, none of those things. Although I know I would feel better if I could, solely for the fact that it does make me nervous going out, I'll be completely honest, because like tonight I had to stop and pump gas. So, you know, you don't know who's standing too close to you. You don't know, you know, even the pump itself, like the gas pump. I didn't think about it till after I got out of the car and started doing it, that I was reading the sign. They have a sign posted on the gas pump that said, you know, these are the measures that we're taking. We're wiping down the pumps and stuff like that every so many hours, but to keep yourself safe, wear your gloves or use a paper towel to actually hold the gas pump. And shit, I didn't even think about that. So as soon as I got back in the car, of course I'm carrying hand sanitizer on me now, so I did that. But and you know, like as soon as I came in, I washed my hands and all those things. So you know, I'm doing my very best to keep myself safe and not sick, and I hope the rest of you are doing the same. But yeah, so for me it's business as usual. But like I was saying to my mom, I called her on the way home tonight, and I said, you know, I'm so very sorry that people are sick. I'm so very sorry that this is happening economically and things like that. But I'll tell you, I am not complaining about the price of gas right now. For those of you in Canada, I got it for 73 cents a liter. I don't know what that is in gallons. So if anyone else is interested enough to do the math, by all means, please go ahead and do that. But yeah, 73 cents a gallon. So I filled my tank for $40. So that is not too shabby. Plus my drive time to work is like, I'm getting there like in no time. It used to be that I knew that I had like 45-minute drive each way to listen to audio. And now it's like 25 minutes to get to work. And I'm like, oh, I'm not getting as much audiobook listening time. Only I would complain about the lack of traffic. with more audiobook time, because I'm leaving at the same time every day, but I'm getting there like 30 minutes early. So, you know, it is what it is. This won't last forever. This too shall pass, as people like to say. I just hope we come out the other side okay, and everybody's okay, and, you know, your families are all okay. Just stay safe if you are self-isolating. You know, that's what ebooks are for. You know, you might not be able to get to the library, but I'm sure, like all of us, we have a ton of physical books. Even if my Kindle up and, you know, I don't even want to say it, knock on wood. If something happened to it, I would have plenty to read. So, yeah. But anyway, guys, I'm going to let you go, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye, guys. Hi, guys. Happy Saturday. It is about 12:30 in the afternoon, and I thought I would do an extra clip in this vlog because we were too short. Because I forgot to do 2 earlier this week, so I thought I'd put an extra one in here just for funsies. I've been busy this morning. Garrett and I are self-isolating this weekend, if you will, and I knew the one thing that I wanted to do this weekend was reorganize my bookshelves, because they were becoming a mess. They were becoming a catch-all for a bunch of stuff. I'd be sitting there, put something on the shelf, and it was just a huge mess, and I was not happy with it. So I literally, the Harlequin shelf right over my shoulder right there, I pulled all those books down and put the new books in, cataloged them on Goodreads, the new ones that I had purchased, about 20 or 25 books, I think, and reorganized them, put everything back on the shelves. So I know I've done it before, and I've shown you guys the shelves before, but it was a while ago, like right after I first did it. So for anyone who's new, I thought I would show them. I figure what I gotta do is do this like about once a month, give it a good clean out, because this is like my happy place, is this corner right here. And, you know, when it's in disarray, it's not happy anymore, right? So yeah, so let me turn the camera around and I'll show them to you guys. So here we go. Kind of hard to see because I put the chair back and I'm not in the mood to move it again. But, so up at the top, my fake flowers. That's why they always look so good. My calendar that I have, that's March. Isn't it cute? Wedding picture, if anyone's curious. I've got the other 2 standing up there too. You guys want to see those? Okay, sure. Since you asked so nicely. So there is hubby and his son and my brother-in-law, and my brother is in the center at the top. Garrett's in the front. And then we've got, sorry for the glare, that is him and I, of course. And then, last but not least, me and the girls. This one kind of fell off the wall. That's why it's leaning up against like this bookcase right here. But yeah, me and my best friend and my sister-in-law and my stepdaughter. So yeah, so there we go. That was at my mom's house is where those pictures were taken. Anyway, back to the bookshelf. Sorry guys for the shadows and stuff, but isn't this pretty? Oh my gosh, it looks so nice. So anyway, back to what we were doing. Fake flowers. We've got some books piled here. Sarah Morgan, Rayanne Thane, Kristen Higgins. For those of you who recently watched my Read Bliss video that I had, you will recognize those 4 books right there. They were all in the video. Some books in this little basket here. I've got some of my book sleeves are right there, and I've got my tablet in that one. So yeah, so down here we have got more little knickknacks. That's what this shelf is more. Hold on, I'm just gonna sit down in this chair because I'm lazy. So, you know, just some books behind there. My little mini Funko Pop collection, John Oliver, Sophia from the Golden Girls, a Peep, because why not, and Sarah from Labyrinth. I've got a Peep back there. I have a thing for Peeps. My friend Mike got me this sign, Knitting is the New Yoga, which I think is awesome. I have no idea where that fox came from, but I love him. He's actually weighted at the bottom. And my Paddington bear that I've had since I was a kid. It's actually a piggy bank. So yeah, that's pretty cute. And then I've got more books down here. Sorry, my sweater's in the way. Sunglasses, my Outlander collection, my Julia Quinn, more Outlander, and then just random bips and bobs down there. John Jakes, stuff like that. Sorry, like I said, too lazy to move the actual chair. So let's go back up here. Way at the top, we've got my boot, some flowers that I need to throw out. As you can see, that one's pretty dead. That's my little container with all my wires and cords and stuff in it. Those flowers were actually, they're about 2-3 weeks old now. They were from Dad's funeral, or Dad's memorial. So I kept them for a while, but it's time to get rid of them, clearly. So these are all the shelves that I've now rearranged. All my Harlequin shelves are all in order of imprint. I'm obviously not going to go through them all, but so yeah, up there we've got behind the, whoops, sorry, finger. Behind these ones, which are the Desire books, we've got the American Romance, the Blaze. Yeah, the Blaze are back behind the bear, you can see. So that's my Sick Kids bear that I got. Garrett made that little orange guy. The other guy's a little cat. I think he's cute. Those are the yarns that I need to put next to my blanket. That is my Wheel of the Year that I got in Salem, Massachusetts last year. And I really think it's pretty, so I've got that on display. And then down here we have got another Peep, because I love them. I've got Big Plans Today. That's a card from Sweet Kawaii Designs that came with one of my orders. Sneak peek for my TBR for April. The 4 books on the bottom, the one on the top I'm going to be reading next, I think, or one of the next books. It'll be read next week. But the other 4 Harlequins are going to be my Harlequin picks for next month. A candle, the Knit Sip Repeat mug that my friend Andrea made for me with a little cat girl. She's I don't remember who knit that for me. I think I got it in a swap package or something, but it's super cute. And then my empty TBR jar. I do have an idea for that, maybe in May, so to bring that back, but in a different aspect, so we shall see. And then down here, so up there we've got the Intrigues, we've got, what is that, the Harlequin Kiss, the Love and Laughter, we've got the Medical and the Nocturne, and then behind there are the Historicals, and what else? B, C, D, the duet novels are back there. Yeah, mostly the historicals and stuff like that. And then down here, the massive amount of special edition books that I have. As you can tell, clearly they are some of my favorites. Behind there, I think, is the Romantic Suspense, the Harlequin Romance. Yeah, these are double stacked. The Harlequin Romance, the Presents novels are back behind there. Another candle, the pink thing over here in the corner is another candle. My Read Bliss mug with all my bookmarks in it. Not a Morning Person, that is a pencil card, I think they're called. So if you're writing something, you like put it behind and it's laminated so it doesn't kind of like go through the page. My Mulder and Scully, so I'm a huge X-Files fanatic. Down here, more, let me just kind of crouch down here. So more Harlequins are down here. Sorry for the horrible, horrible angle. These are special editions and Temptations and the Love Inspired, and this stupid sweater keeps getting in the way, and this, like, what does it say, a true large print Love Inspired novel. I found that at a thrift store. So let me just swing the chair and see if I can get back behind here. No, I can't really. So let's see. And then there's still one more shelf down there with just some random books and the rest of the Love Inspired books and stuff. But behind these ones here are some more special edition, because why not, along with more of the Super Romance. And yeah, so there are my shelves, you guys. Super, super loving them. Happy I got them reorganized. Like I said, I need to do that about once a month, once every couple months. So here's the other thing. Let me show you this. So I haven't talked about this really. Hold on. Let me just put this down here. So I got this, which is a very boring graph paper little notebook that one would take to school. Oh, there's all of my current knitting projects. The blue reading journal that I have actually gotten rid of because I wasn't happy with it. There were a few things about it that I didn't love. The first one is that I felt too structured with it, that I had to kind of, you know, there were so many pages that I wasn't going to use, and I had to cover them up or figure out what to do with them, and it was a bit of a pain. The other thing was that I found it very small. I tend to write large and loopy, like not loopy, but like big letters. I have a hard time writing in tiny print. And the other thing is because of its size and with the stickers in it, it got really, really fat already. And that was only like 2.5 months in. And I just thought I wasn't happy with it. So I went out and I bought this book. And I am redoing my reading journal starting for April. So this is much nicer. You guys see my writing? So that's actually my TBR for April. But yeah, like I have nice big handwriting and I don't like being conformed. So I've already started doing it. I'm going to play with this again today and do some more. But that's kind of what it's starting to look like. So if you guys are interested, I know I used to do it, but I'm happy to do a walkthrough of it. This I actually plan on covering. I've got these big like label stickers that I'm going to cover it with. And then these, there's one of them right there. And then the other one that I showed you, the I've Got Big Plans Today. Instead of doing postcards now, she actually does these giant stickers. So I'm going to put a giant sticker on the center and then I can use it. But now I just feel a lot more happy with it. Like this is kind of merging the two ideas together. The original one where I just did the individual pages and put them in a binder. And then this one where it's an actual book. So I like the book aspect of it, and I like the pages like this. So yeah, so I'm really, really happy with it. And like I said, if you guys are interested, I'm happy to do an overview. So that's all I got for right now, you guys. I'll give you a last little overview of the shelf. And I will talk to you later on tonight with a reading update. Bye, guys. Hi, guys. Happy Saturday. It is just before midnight on Saturday night, so it's still technically Saturday night. I am coming to you with my final clip of this vlog, looking a little bit better than I did in the last clip that you guys just saw. I did shower a bit earlier. We did not go out, believe me. I thought it's a Saturday night. Let's get all fancied up for sitting in the house. But no, I actually just shot the 2 or 3 minute long clip I did for a collab video that I'm doing with a bunch of other booktubers, romance booktubers. So as soon as I have more information on that, when it's actually going to be released, I'm pretty sure it's going to be next week. I'll let you guys know, and I'll of course leave a link to it. It was really fun, and I've been watching some of the other ones so that have been coming out over the last few months, and I'm really enjoying them. So, you know, I'm super excited to be taking part in this one. So anyway, that's why I kind of got myself just a little bit dolled up. Plus, it's fun. I haven't done it in a few days. I've been pretty lazy the last week at work, so I haven't really been doing a lot of makeup and stuff like that. But very, very subtle. I just want a little something. And I decided to also wear my pretty new earrings that I've had that I haven't worn yet for some reason. So anyway, that is all that. That's not what you're here to listen to. So, reading update for today. I finished a book, you guys. As predicted, I finished reading The Sign of the Twisted Candles by Carolyn Keene. This is the 9th book in the Nancy Drew mystery series, the original series. This one came out in 33. So I enjoyed this one. I think I ended up giving it 3.5 stars, which is pretty average, you know, for most of my Back to My Childhood books. Unless they're truly bad, it's a 3.5 star rating. And a lot of people be like, oh, well, you're just reading an average book. But you know what? They're quick reads, you guys. You know, you can fly through these things. I mean, yes, I read them over the course of a week, but you know, I typically read 2 or 3 chapters a night, and it takes me 10-15 minutes. You know, like it's not a huge time commitment, let's put it that way. And like I said, I gave it 3.5 stars. The thing with this one is that there wasn't really much of a mystery per se. You kind of know right from the beginning what's happening. So I've already mentioned kind of what this is about. It's about an older gentleman, and he's kind of, you know, a la Rapunzel, locked in this tower. You know, he really can't come and go as he wants because he's 100 years old. So he's on the 3rd floor. Stairs are not exactly his friend. And he does befriend this younger girl, and there's a kind of a mystery surrounding her, and you know how he knows her from before, with, you know, without saying too much. When I say young girl, I mean a girl who's probably about 18 years old. And anyway, he, you know, there's family fighting over his money, even though he's still alive. And then, spoiler alert, he does pass away about halfway through the book. And, you know, this deals with wills and, you know, estates and things like that. These are very, you know, I've mentioned that before, the last one I read about in this series, that these seem a lot more mature for the time period than they seem now, than they would seem now. They deal with a lot more adult topics. And the other thing that I always say, these books are so quaint. You know, without, again, giving too much away, if you haven't actually read this one, I mean, it's a much older book, and I know a lot of you have read through the Nancy Drew series, but this is prevalent throughout this series. It wasn't just, you know, typical for this book, but at one point in this book, one of the characters actually gets kidnapped, and Nancy and her dad Just like, oh well, we'll find her. And like, okay, we should really eat something, you know, like, and they're always eating meals in these books. I don't know what was up with that, but like every time you turn around, they were having lunch, or they were having breakfast, or they were having dinner. So like this person's kidnapped, and like an hour or so later, well, dinner's ready, we should really sit down and eat. And then later, it just seems like there's not a huge rush for anything super serious happening. Do you know what I mean? Shenanigans. Sorry, guys. I was sitting here recording and I went to go grab my drink to have a sip of it because my throat was starting to get all scratchy, and the camera just toppled down, so I cut that out. But yeah, so that's just what happened. Sorry about that. But yeah, these are super quaint and not a huge sense of urgency in these. You know, like there's not necessarily like, you know, they'll knock somebody out and make them unconscious and tie them up, but there's no guns involved. There's no, so I don't know whether or not that was maybe just a thing of the time, that because it was geared towards a younger audience, they didn't want to put that kind of information or that kind of danger essentially in these books. I mean, with the Nancy Drews that came out in the 80s, yes, there are often times when Nancy's in grave danger. In the last book, she was tied up to a pier. And when the tide came in, she would have drowned if she hadn't gotten out. So you know what I mean? There's that more sense of a urgency or danger to the newer books where there wasn't in the old books. It was all very, you know, although in this book I have to say that at one point Nancy's climbing up to this third story window on a ladder, and the bad guy tries to push her, like push the ladder, so she would have died for sure, and but her dad saved her. Spoiler alert again. Spoiler alert for all the things for this book. But yeah, I mean, it was fun. 3.5 stars. It was an enjoyable enough read. So I am now about 89%, sorry, my foot's tucked up underneath me and it's hurting. 89% of the way through The Girls in the Garden by Lisa Jewell. This one's good. I'm enjoying it. It's a thriller, but it's not like, I'm not finding it as thrilling as some of her other books. It's still going to get a pretty good, unless it completely goes off the rails in the next 11%, in the last 11%. I can see this absolutely getting a 4.5 star rating from me. It's still really good, but most of her books I have rated about 5 stars because I've absolutely loved them. This is a slightly older one, but it's still quite good. I've already talked about what it's about. Again, this one kind of goes back in time, so now we're after the incident, and now they're trying to find out exactly who done it. So it's not so much a thriller as this is a mystery. Something bad has happened, but you are more trying to find out who did this bad thing, and that's really all I'm going to say. And I'm also now about 85% of the way through The Colton Marine by Lisa Childs, book 5 in the Coltons of Shadow Creek series. This one's okay, not absolutely loving it. I don't know. I talked about it in my last clip about the whole family dynamic with this one. And as much as I love series that follow like a family, like The Bridgertons is one of my favorites, the historical romance series by Julia Quinn. But this is a little bit different because like with The Bridgertons, you know, it's these 8 siblings and they are all, you know, siblings. This other one, this series, it's more like this is a half brother. And I'm not saying that those don't constitute as siblings, but, you know, oh, I'm a friend of the family, but I grew up with them, so they consider me their brother, and they call me brother. It's just very weird when you're reading it, like I said yesterday, where the one character, you know, the one guy is his brother and the other one is his cousin, you know what I mean? So, yeah, it's odd, and I find it very convoluted sometimes, and very, what I find about this series is that it's hard to keep track of who everyone is, because of all the different brother, sister, cousin type relationships, you know. Again, with the Bridgertons, it's straightforward. These are all brothers and sisters, you know, whereas, you know, you're meeting a character again and going, okay, so was it the guy who was related to the family or the girl who was related to the family? Do you know what I mean? It really doesn't matter in the long run, but, you know, I mean, this is enjoyable enough. I am more interested in this point now at finishing the series, because I want to find out if they catch the mom, like the mother who was, you know, in jail for murder and is now on the lam. So that's the part that I'm really interested in. So anyway, guys, that's all I have for reading this week. I think I finished 5 books, which has been pretty average for me over the last few weeks. 5 books seems to be my norm, which is great. And yeah, we're coming into the tail end of March. You know, we've got all of next week and then a few days of the week after that, so that's exciting. So before I let you guys go, of course, I haven't been doing this, or, oh, you know what I forgot? I was just looking way up at the bag I have up there. Do you know what? I'm going to go ahead and get that. I will be right back. So sorry guys, I thought about this afterward because of course I just finished a book. So The Sign of the Twisted Candle. So I've got to open my next mini tomorrow while I'm finishing editing this vlog, because I did do most of the editing up until today already. And so tomorrow morning I will finish listening to The Girls in the Garden and I will finish editing this vlog, and I'll add in the minis for my blanket. So I'll show you my blanket in just a minute from the minis I added last week. So now we have, oh, this is pretty. It's kind of like browns and grays. So, there. Kind of matches my nails, doesn't it, you guys? So, yeah. That's nice. It'll be pretty in the blanket. I mean, it's not, you know, it's the colors, let's be honest, are kind of boring. They are very, they're neutral, of course. But yeah, it'll still be nice in the blanket, mixing it with all the other bright colors that I have in there. So, let me show you guys my knitting. So I'll show you, what should I show you first? Because I have 2 things to show you. I'll show you the blanket first. And this is, of course, the sock yarn blanket that I've been opening the minis for all week. So every time I finish a book, I open another mini and then I add it to my blanket. So here's where I was last Saturday with this square. So I have added in this square here, which was a St. Patrick's Day colorway. It just so happened to be a St. Patrick's Day colorway, and I don't know if I actually added it in on St. Patrick's Day. I can't remember, because that was, what, last Tuesday? So yeah, so there's that one. And then I added in this one, which is actually a Halloween colorway. I have a pair of socks in this color. This one, which I believe was a Christmas colorway. Both of these are from the same dyer, No Makers, who no longer dyes yarn, sadly. And then I added this one in as well. So I still have a bunch that I haven't added in yet. But I picked up, like I said, another knitting project this week, and that's kind of been taking a good bit of my knitting attention. So yeah, so now we are into, so this is like up and down. So that's how, I think I'm at 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yes, that was the very first square that I put in the blanket. So now I'm working my way across the long edge of the blanket. It's 40 squares across, you guys, in case you're curious. But yeah, I love it. And I love that it's at a length now, like especially in the wintertime, that I can sit on the couch and throw this over my legs and knit on it, which is super exciting. So yeah, because I don't twist the whole blanket like when I'm knitting front to back. It's, my friend actually taught me this because I was getting so annoyed knitting this. I'm like, I hate picking the whole thing up, turning it to knit it. And she's like, just turn it back and forth. Like, you know, because you don't turn it like this. You just turn it like, you know, you knit this half and then turn it this way and then just turn it back this way. So that's all you're doing is just moving that little bit of the blanket while you're knitting on it. It's so much easier. So yeah, so there's my blanket. It's kind of a, it's from a pattern. It's a mitered square blanket. If anyone else is interested in picking one up, you can do it with any weight of yarn. It does not have to be sock yarn. I even debated on using a lot of my old scraps from, like, you know, my thicker weight yarns and doing like a bigger blanket, like a quicker knit to throw on the back of the couch. So I know it's a free pattern, but like the recipe, if you will, that I'm using is I cast on 33 stitches and you knit, yeah, so you cast on, then knit back, and then you knit 15 decrease 2 in the middle, and then knit the other 15. So you're decreasing by 2 every time, and then, you know, on the wrong side you just knit back, and then the next row you'll knit 14, decrease 2, knit 14, knit back, and then so on and so forth. So every other row you're like decreasing by 2. So you'll go to, you know, on either side of your decrease, you'll have like 15, 14, 13, if that makes sense. The knitters will probably know what I'm talking about, but it's really, really easy. If anyone's interested in the pattern, I'm happy to share. So the other thing that I cast on is actually a test knit, but I'm way behind. So I don't even know if Andrea has released this pattern or not. She may have. I'll have to check Ravelry. If she has, I will leave it linked in the description box below. But these are the Totally Rad mitts. And it's a pair of fingerless mitts. And this is my second time casting them on, because I cast them on the first time and I did the size a little bit too small for me. So I went up a size. And Andrea has a podcast. It's the Cat Lady Podcast. And I will leave that linked definitely below. But this is the start of the mitt. Aren't the colors just so bright and obnoxious? I love it. So this is actually a Christmas colorway from, who's the dyer? Dancing Dog Dye Works, I think. I think it's called Holly Jolly. But I love the way that it's like pooling. The colors, that's what it's called. It's pooling. When you get these long bits of color repeats. So you can see it's got pinks and blues and greens and of course reds. But I really, really like it. So the one thing, if you'll see, there's like a little bow there. Isn't that adorable? I kind of love it. So yeah, and then there's like this like lacy part here. So these are not exactly, because it's very open here, they're not exactly big warm winter mitts. But I still really like them. And I love the fact that like Andrea's like, they're called Totally Rad, which is like a very 80s thing. They're meant to be that very 80s inspired, you know, like the Madonna type gloves and stuff like that, right? If Madonna wore hand knit mitts. She might, we don't know. But yeah, I really, really like them. So yeah, I'm hoping to have at least the first one done by next Saturday and getting the second one cast on. Like I said, I don't know if the pattern's been released yet or not, but I want to get at least this first one done, maybe even tomorrow, because this is all I've done today, you guys. Like, this is what I've knit today. So, because like I said, I started to knit it, but I was knitting the wrong size. So I recast it back on just this morning. And even in amongst reading and stuff like that, this is what I've gotten done. So, yay. So anyway, yeah, so that's that. As usual, these are a bit of a longer clip at the end, but that's okay because we missed a couple this week, but I did have the one earlier too, so who knows how long this is going to end up being. But I know I only got one video out this week. I had meant to get 2. I'm sorry. Tomorrow, again, self-isolation, social distancing. I will not be going out and doing anything. So my game plan is to shoot 2 videos tomorrow that are going to go up later this week. Yeah, and plus the beginning of next week's vlog. So until my next one, everybody, take care and happy reading. Thank you all so much for watching. Bye, guys.